Hey everyone, welcome to a very special impromptu, I guess, Funhaus podcast where we announce really super important things, obviously. Bruce is joining us today.
Yeah, that's right.
Hi, Bruce. I'm guessing you can see where this is going, but hey, how was your sabbatical, Bruce?
Oh, it was fantastic.
Yeah?
It was really, really great. Yeah.
You seem relaxed. You seem more tan.
I'm much more relaxed. I smile more, I've noticed. No, it was really great. I was just really nice of Bruce to let me do that. And it's one of those things that I've been saying to you over and over and over. Each one of you should do it. You actually should take a month off, and that's not a joke. You really, really should.
Absolutely.
I think Rooster Teeth's in a spot now where they would allow you to do that.
Yeah, and as with most sabbaticals, it's a time where you reflect, you take some time to think about things, and your decision was?
To move on.
There you go.
My decision was, so what I can say is, initially I gave my notice to Rooster Teeth before the sabbatical. That was something that I'd been thinking long and hard about for months or maybe even more close to a year. And then I was thinking about it and I was like, well, you know what? I'll give notice, but I'll give them like a month and a half to basically to leave. And they were like, well, wait, hold on. Let's give you a sabbatical and see how it goes. Think about it then. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I did. That was one of the things that I did during the sabbatical was think about it. Because initially I was on my way out and Rooster Teeth was like, no, you know what? Give it a thought. So I did. Yeah, but I still decided I wanted to move on. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, and I guess for like a behind the scenes thing here, Bruce brought us all in individually and asked us, "Hey, I'm thinking about leaving, and I'm going to take. What do you think I should do?" And that's I think one of the things that people probably don't see here day to day behind the scenes that like it shows you really care and you care like what we thought, but in reality, it's what do you need?
Well, no, yeah,
we want you to be happy.
I always want you guys to be happy too. So it's an interesting dynamic for me, and eventually it was one of those things where I had to think, well, what am I doing? Like, am I not happy here, and am I affecting other people? So, and I was like, well, I'm probably affecting other people, so I should probably move on. And also generally just for goals of mine, you know, to start my own business and do that whole thing. Mm-hmm. So that's more. I think that's where I'm at now. So
good. Yeah. No one here and no one in the audience ever should fault you for wanting to do something bigger or better or something and just be happy, honestly. And I think I told you this when you and I talked, which is like, this is just a job. Like, please don't die for your job.
Yeah,
My goal for you, and that goes for everyone, is just like, I just want you to be happy. And if this makes you happy, that's awesome. And I support you 110%. So it's like, and I want the audience to do that too. And I hope.
Oh, they will.
I can't tell them what to think or what to do.
No,
but
they will though.
I think it's important to do videos like this to show that like, look, there's no bad blood here. It's like we're all friends. We're all cool. It's fine. It's like these things happen, and just I guess maybe not laying it on thick.
I think also onto that, like it's not everything is a drama surprise thing, because like you mentioned, Bruce came to us and told us and wanted to confide in us and say this is how he was feeling and this is what he was thinking and kind of going through his head, and those are the like true good human relationships. That's why we are friends, and I think that's why we've worked so well together, is because like you can put those things out there, and then all of us can collectively, like when you were like, hey, just so you know, they're saying a sabbatical, but I don't want people to be upset that I'm going to be gone for a month.
Yeah.
But we were like, no, like find yourself, like or whatever it is, like no, go do it. And then if after the end of it you've decided that this isn't what you want, that's okay.
Yeah.
And the only reason I think you can get to that point is because we have that conversation, you know, and it's drama free. So
yeah, I think there's also an expectation for viewers that don't know. I mean, I guess there's lots of ways I think that people see us. I think people think that we all live together and go home and sleep in bunk beds with each other. I think some people think the opposite, where they're like, well, they just see each other here and then they never see each other. The relationships they have on camera, these hyper sensationalized relationships, are their relationships. It's like, no, that's like not. Yeah. It's not either of those things. Mm-hmm. And
the beds
I think,
are side by side.
Yeah, exactly. We push them together like Lucy and Desi. I think a lot of people think that like you're gonna leave and like that's it.
Never. I'm never talking to you guys again.
Yeah,
literally never.
There's a perforation in the paper and it's getting split there, and then the papers are going to the wind, and it's a very like doom and gloom situation. And I don't think it is a doom and gloom situation, or that it needs to be thought of in that way. Personally,
people have talked about this before too, about like group channels, like YouTube channels, are very rare and don't exist because typically there's a lot of ego involved and a lot of issues, and it's one of the big reasons why I love working here is that like I feel like we're so different than what I've typically seen online, where like people are just like, I'm the best one and I'm leaving. And
I mean, we only have to deal with peak.
I guess with that said, I'm surprised we lasted this long. No, I'm just kidding.
No, it's not wrong. Like it isn't. You're wrong in that.
I'm just saying like it's hard to stay in a group dynamic all the time, and you can't fault someone for wanting to try either something different or move on or whatever. And I was actually always like, I'm really surprised like we're still working together, and I'm like, I guess I'm not surprised that someone would eventually want to go start their own business or do something like that. That's not too far out of the realm of reality, right?
Well, I mean, just also to add some context, I don't know how much we want to get into it. We've kind of discussed it in passing before, but like the transition from like Inside Gaming to Funhaus wasn't just a seamless thing. It wasn't like we were like doing this thing and we wanted to go we were super unhappy there and we just wanted to go anywhere else, and then Rooster Teeth showed up with a golden carriage and said, "Come away." It was like, we had conversations at that time of like, do we want to try and go off on our own? Do we want to start a Patreon, start a business? Do we even want to do gameplays? Like, we would like working together, and we have good working relationships, and we're good friends. Like, these all seem like really good things. Like, what do we want to get out of it? And they're honestly, to be just completely honest, like, people had different opinions.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
At the time, and it
there was
like
7 of us.
We came to a consensus, but not everyone agreed, even at that point in time, what we wanted for ourselves as a group. I'm personally grateful that we got to continue working together.
Yeah.
And I do think that Funhaus is bigger than Inside Gaming was.
Absolutely.
And so it is really cool that things continued to grow, and I don't feel like we necessarily made the wrong decision, but there were several other pathways through the forest that we could have taken that people were very interested in, and it makes sense that at some point people might want to continue exploring the forest.
Yeah.
Like, it's just that's normal, and I think it makes sense.
Well, it's one thing that I do know for a fact that like as a group, I like making content as a group, and it's one of those things where like it's sort of scary to go off on my own because I know that it's not going to be what this is, and I like what this is in the sense that I like making this content. I know it's better as a group than it is me alone, but at the same time, it's not with Rooster Teeth. And I wrote this in a tweet, but at the same time, I'm leaving Rooster Teeth because I built brands for a bunch of very large billion-dollar companies, and I would like to try it for myself.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I'm going to make a billion-dollar company. It's more of just like, I'd like to try, working for myself for a long time. And it's something that I've heard all throughout my life, just generally parents and like friends and relatives. They always say like, oh yeah, it's really cool to work for yourself. And I never understood it. I never got it. And then the more that I thought about it recently in the last like year or so, the more I was like, yeah, it totally makes sense. I completely understand. It's really, really scary to be an entrepreneur, but at the same time, you don't have to answer to anybody, except for maybe the audience in this case. And
IRS.
And the IRS.
Even then, though, I mean, the loopholes.
And yourself, I guess.
And yourself.
Because like you're your own boss, so you've got to be a self-starter. You got to
Absolutely.
motivate yourself.
That's true. A lot of people can't do that either. But I've always been that. I've always been a self-starter. And so for me, listening to myself and the audience, I was already doing that here anyways at Funhaus. I really was.
I wrote this down as just like a note, which is I think a lot of times what people see is just the finished product. They just see the video. They think we go in a room and then we dream really hard and the video's done. And we go, and they don't see the hard work that goes into it. Matt overseeing post-production, which I don't think people even know that he's in charge of all day. But like, I don't think people knew your day to day. And they didn't understand that you being in videos was what, maybe 20%?
Maybe.
It's
probably more like 15, like 10 to 15. I mean, that's the question I get all the time on Twitch streams. It's always like, oh, like you took a sabbatical to play games. Like, don't you play games all the time at work? And I'm like, no, literally never. Like, if anything, I get to sit behind someone as they play.
Rockstar leveled up his character in GTA Online, which is the only reason it's that high.
Yeah, there was no way I did that for myself.
If you want an accurate, it's like mine. The level of my character is like the lowest out of all of ours because Rockstar never interfered with it. So like the idea is like, oh well, Adam and Bruce. Lawrence has because we use it for the
yeah.
gameplay. The
Yeah.
online has leveled up regularly, but like it's like 150 or whatever. That's got to be 1,000 hours.
No,
Yeah.
not at all.
And I guess just so like the audience knows, this month you've been gone, we've all had to band together and go. We all have to do the work Bruce is doing, and we've kind of been getting by with
You guys have been doing great.
But
It's been a shared load, though.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
yeah.
been 7-8 people taking on the work you were doing. So like,
You guys have been doing great,
Yeah.
though. The channel's doing fantastic.
no, but I mean, as led by your lead or by your design,
Yeah.
essentially, and we're just like, just keep doing. You have taught us so much.
There's a little formula. There's a little
Yeah.
formula. you
I don't know
plug
how
in.
much you want to get into it, but like, it always seems stupid when we try and list out the actual things we do, because on a Tuesday of August, it's completely different than on a Wednesday in October.
Right.
But like, just in terms of like, on average, the stuff that you do that isn't necessarily sitting in front of a computer making fun of video games.
I mean, like the rest of it's emails and meetings and looking at analytics and looking at YouTube and looking at like the video manager in YouTube, which is YouTube Studio. I do that most of the day, but even then, before when I was managing, man, then I wasn't even doing that much. It was all talking to people. It was just constantly talking to people and like managing relationships and managing work and managing workload and all that other stuff. And like any people that manage other people know what that is now out in the audience. But if you don't, it's weird because I remember hearing something a long time ago when I first started being a manager, which was because they had time cards for everybody. And they were like, when you become a manager, you don't really have a time card anymore. And I was like, well, why? And they're like, because it's almost impossible to account for your time as a manager because you're constantly sending emails and talking to people, but your focus is in 8 different directions. Lawrence knows. Lawrence has been managing now for what?
6 months?
Yeah, 6 months. I mean, you tell them what you do.
What don't you do?
I mean, the biggest and most invisible task is just making sure that everyone has what they need to work, which can be emotional. It can be talking through issues. It can also be logistic, just making sure that things happen in the right sequence. And that is phenomenally complicated, especially given how disruptive our work can be. Even today is like an example of doing this. Like there are a million things that pop up that require immediate attention and like reshuffling, and a lot of that stuff is invisible, both above and below. So it's a lot of like just stressing over things that may or may not happen, trying to anticipate problems before they occur and solving them. It's it's tough.
I mean, and not to say that it's not like hard work or whatever. That I don't mind that at all. It doesn't bother me. It's just more of the like you said, the perspective of the audience looking in on Funhaus is like, oh, we're just all chilling out. We sat down, played a game, and then went and got some food or whatever. It's not really like that.
Well, you've also I think we've all kind of lamented in the past. That's by nature of what is the storefront of our job of doing a funny gameplay. Like it's very fun.
Yeah,
but there are times where you just get an email that's really not fun or really depressing or something, but it doesn't matter because it's 10:25 and in 5 minutes it's time to record demo disc.
Yeah.
And you can't just not record demo disc because it has to be recorded at this time because that's the flow that works in with the pipeline in post. And if it doesn't get recorded at 10:30, it's not going to go up. And then if that doesn't go up, then views go down. Like it's a weird tower that you're kind of managing. But then like, given all of those relationships that you have to consider, it's just like an added. I always understood it and empathized with you as this added emotional duress, which is already on top of the like desire to perform well.
Oh sure, yeah.
Like for the camera.
Yeah.
So like it's always been this thing that's like it's hard to quantify.
Well, it's like getting really crappy advice from like a parent or something before you go do a gymnastics routine.
Yeah, you're right.
It's like Homer's dad, like you're gonna screw it up. And
there
have been times I know where we've been in meetings and we're just getting it's like yelled at or like this is messed up, do this, and then it's like and now go perform. And we're like, la, da, 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 da.
There's just so much like little things that you can't really like also, it's hard to point to that make up the bigger picture. Like, you can't, there's little stuff where like, it's just like, well, I was, cutting a promo for something, or I was pulling stills for something, or it's like little things all day that add up. And, like we also, a big part of our job is giving, and I think it's like it's lessened a little bit for you, but it used to be that you gave notes on every single video.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, now we all
was
give
years ago, but yeah.
now we all give notes on videos. But like last week, like you were out, Alana was out. You haven't you usually give notes on like Wheelhouse's demo discs and stuff.
Yeah.
So like I was like giving notes on like my videos, your videos, Alana's videos. Bruce, like it's just there's tons of stuff that people don't realize. Like it just all adds up.
This is a tried and true business. It really
Yeah.
is, and it has been for 6 years now. And it's one of those things that I don't know that. I mean, I'm really glad that people look at it as just like, hey, it's just a channel of people having fun and like, but it's also a business.
Yeah.
It's both, and so it requires people to run the business, like Matt Peak and Lawrence and Omar, and like those people are actually managing people, and there's a lot of hard work there that you may not see or know.
Well, that's a big reason why I wanted to bring this up, because I think from the audience's perspective, it's not gonna change. It's gonna obviously
no.
you're not gonna be around all the time.
That's
but
not
also,
true.
but it's like I said, 15-20% of what you're doing is being in video. So like we still have a bunch of videos that are in the queue.
Yeah.
I think I counted. There's 2 parts of Gun. We shot the Pirates gameplay, which you came in on your sabbatical to do, which is super
Pirates one,
fun.
I forgot about that, yeah.
We have there's the Sherlock video we did. We did that gameplay We Were Here. There's 2 parts of that.
That's a great video.
We played the casino stuff in GTA. There's 3 parts of Out of Space, and there's a bunch of other videos that are still in edit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna like blur your face and pitch your voice now.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's
but
good. I'm
they're
glad.
gonna go up.
I'm not getting paid for those.
No.
So it's like we obviously you're not moving anywhere. You're still in the neighborhood.
Yeah,
like, yeah. So like we obviously welcome you with open arms. Like please come in whenever you can, whenever you're not busy doing your stuff. So like this isn't like so long. It's more of like it's our day to day internally is going to change a lot more than I think what the audience is going to see.
I think, but the goal has always been, we do these very rarely. These podcasts, these whatever, like these videos where we like pull back the curtain and show everything, because I don't think it's fun for the audience. It may be interesting, but it's not as fun for the audience to watch the Wizard of Oz turn that crank as much as it is to see the giant green head with the fire behind it.
Of course.
And our goal is to make a really cool giant green head with fire behind it, not to
Absolutely.
show you the cranks and the valves going off and stuff.
Yeah.
Which is why we don't do it that often, but I think sometimes it's very the goal has always been to make sure that the entertainment is good. That's our job. And I even saw a comment today, because today is Tuesday, so Comment Show went up on YouTube. People were like, "Oh man, Bruce back from his sabbatical."
Yeah, I know.
And it's like,
That was from me.
well, at least you didn't understand. But it's like that almost makes me feel better, because it shouldn't be the audience's obligation to understand and know that was recorded before and it's been waiting to go up, and it's part of a pipeline of content that we have prepared for basically all situations. Yeah. So it's just interesting.
Perfect example is like today, Lawrence wanted Bruce to come on and say it on Inside Gaming as well, because he's a big part of that channel. But it's like we shot that before this, and so you have to like mentally put everything into place of like, how will this be messaged? And it's like it sucks, because at the end of the day, the reason why I want to make a video like this is because we've built this channel, and I think all of our personal brands, and just being transparent with people, and I think that's something we all do well, and I like doing that. It's like I think you owe it to people just to be like, hey, look, we want to treat you like adults, or treat you the way we want to be treated, and just say this is how it is, and show it to you. Not, I don't know, I just don't want to be fake to people. Mm-hmm. That's always been my goal, and I think people will understand. But like you're saying though, maybe most people don't care. They're like,
most people don't.
They're like, hey, as long as I see that funny fart guy and he break disc time, good, okay.
No, that's true.
I don't know why they're
But
caveman's watching our content.
The only obligation you really have, is to watch something and enjoy it or not.
Yeah. No, but I mean, like, this is more, I think these videos are more for the people on Reddit, and more that like people that are like following our Twitters and like Instagrams and all that stuff, because they're going to ask. Yeah. And I like trying to get ahead of those questions. And I always tell people this, the more that I'm now on the internet, which is, don't speculate, just ask me. Just tweet me and be like, hey,
oh, that's no fun.
It isn't. You're right, Lawrence. It's not. But I wish they'd just ask me, and then I'll just answer them. I'll tell them.
Well, I mean, to that point, I think there's 2 big elephants here, most of which we've already addressed, but might as well summarize it for the sake of people who maybe might want to read in between the lines a little bit. So, Bruce, you're going to go off to your own thing.
Yeah.
Twitch TV/Bruce Green.
That's right. Yes, that's right. On Twitch and on YouTube, yeah.
But you mentioned about like starting your own business and stuff like that. Are we going to see what that looks like in the next month, year?
I mean, honestly, it is what it already is, which is on Twitch and YouTube. if I'm doing that every day and I'm putting videos on YouTube every day and streaming on Twitch every day, that is a business. So everybody that you see on Twitch and YouTube, Ninja, Shroud, XQC, whatever, that is their business. They probably got 2 or 3 people hired. One of them's editing, one of them's producing, whatever else. They've got a few people, but that is their tiny little small business that they're running. And it gets larger and larger and larger, and eventually they start hiring more people. Like Ninja's wife, I think, manages his career. But that's what that is. And so that's basically the beginning of this tiny little business that I'm starting is Twitch and YouTube, which is, it sounds hilarious. It's like, it really is what that is. It turns into a business.
But it's like how people don't realize that this is a business.
Right.
Yeah.
No, yeah,
It's
exactly.
very much akin to that.
Yeah. And so I don't, it's like saying that out loud sounds like I'm going to go like open up a shop and start baking croissants or something. But
That's what I would have
hold
thought.
on.
So it's good to clarify.
yeah.
I mean, it's also to asking that sort of questions. Like, I'm guessing you probably don't know what it looks like right now because
No.
it's new and it's the beginning and
Things grow.
Yeah.
Mixer
Hopefully.
could be the next big thing, Bruce.
Yeah, well, no, you're right. And actually, I've actually been talking to Mixer. It's one of those things where it's like you don't know, especially on the internet. Geez, man, like every week is something new, it's something different. And so, like in a month's time, like everybody could be on Mixer now. And at this point, it's like, well, I got to figure out how to get a Mixer.
Right.
And so you're using these platforms to launch your own business. So yeah.
I guess the other elephant, as far as I can tell, is for Funhaus. Basically said that things are going to, as far as the audience is concerned, things should continue as usual, just maybe with a slight decrease of Bruce in videos. But I don't know if you guys have any perspectives you'd like to share. I mean, because it is, to a degree, if I were a viewer, it'd be the breaking of the fellowship, the founders or whatever. I guess Spool and Joel were part of that too. But
they were.
As far as I can say, or from speaking from my perspective, Funhaus is going to continue. I just want to make sure that that's explicitly said.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. There's a reason we're doing this on Funhaus and not all from our individual channels or
Right.
whatever. It's because we want Funhaus to continue.
Yeah.
And we want it to continue being good. There's inevitably, I've already had numerous discussions with Elise about, I can't wait to see all the comments.
Well, it's going to be a ton.
In 6 months or a year that go, oh, it's been so bad since blank,
whatever,
right? Which is fine. Totally get the rationale, but whether or not I agree with it. But I think the goal here is we like making Funhaus content. We like working at Funhaus, and we want to keep doing that and whatever else that entails.
Well, I'm the only thing changing. Everything else is staying the same.
Yeah.
And so I can guarantee that Funhaus videos are still going to be just as funny.
But even when we had a meeting, I mean, this is probably, it's so inside baseball, I don't know if the audience will even care, but before you went on your sabbatical, you had a talk with some of the higher ups, and I remember you saying, these things need to change at this place to make things better. And there are 2 big changes of like how big of a project we can work on now and how we can bring in outside help to help us. Because a lot of us, we've been doing 12 jobs for a long time, and sometimes it's nice to give someone a break by like bringing a contract editor or something like that. And even up to the moment where you're about to take time off, you were still pushing for those things. And that's one of those things that I'm just like eternally grateful for, where it's like you're always fighting for the brand, even if you were on the fence of, I don't know if I'm going to stay or I'm going to go. So it's like you've always been a classy guy.
Oh, thank you. That's
whether,
nice
whether
of you.
the audience, it's like I don't think they'll ever see that, and maybe they won't even notice the fruits of those labor of that labor. But like we can work. So like the channel's going to stay the same more or less. We're going to keep doing stuff, but like. Yeah, we might do some slightly bigger projects, maybe here or there. Maybe not. I don't know. We're still trying to figure that stuff out. But quality of life it's gonna be a little tough with Bruce gone.
There's going to be a transitional period, of
Sure.
course, but like honestly, the sabbatical was useful in that I think we garnered a lot of information from it.
Yeah.
And it was a point where we were like, okay, we're already starting this slow transition period into figuring out what steps need to take place to, one, make sure people are happy here, because I think that's a conversation that kind of that you exposed us to.
Open it up,
I think some people were like content to just be here, but not necessarily be loving every minute of it. But I think you were brave enough to say like, we should be happy, like, and an individual should be happy at their job with their friends and stuff like that. And I think that's a conversation that is going to ripple out, and I think is something that we are going to start. I don't know what the answer is, but like checking on that, like making sure culturally, like that's a thing. And then also just, I know people are very tired working sometimes and figuring out a way to ensure that people are getting things done and we can keep up the content and keep it good without actually feeling like
Burning out.
we're burning out,
Yeah.
or like, just the candle wax is melting down.
Yeah.
Well, just your suggestion with the sabbatical too, and then also the way you felt. I remember you saying like, "Are people going to be upset if I take a month off?" And we're like, "Oh God, no."
Yeah, it's
But
weird
because I feel that same way too.
Yeah.
Where if I take time off, people are going to be mad at me.
That's how I feel like we all internalize that to ourselves, where we're like, "Oh, we can't take time off because we'll let each other down and people will be upset." But then if somebody else came to us and said, "I would like to take some time off," we're all like, "Oh yeah, of course you should."
Yeah.
But then we don't practice what we preach with ourselves.
Yeah.
It's like something that I do too, where I'm like, and then this year I'm like, I need to take time off because I'm killing myself.
Yeah.
And but like, correct me if I'm wrong, but to me, like, I don't look at this as like goodbye. I look at it just like your relationship with Funhaus changing.
That's basically
And
it.
like, yeah.
That's basically it. I'm 10 minutes down the road.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm not gonna, and like you guys have already started asking me about other videos. So I'm like, yeah, whatever, sure, why
Yeah,
not?
absolutely. I mean, I guess to that point, I don't know if it's worth mentioning this Friday. If you want to talk about that a little bit.
I mean, yeah,
Lawrence.
drunk stream this Friday. Hopefully, it's a shitty week.
Yeah, this week is like, I mean, we have to push it. We have to push it because our own health is more important. our own emotional health is more important.
Yeah.
But no, we
Well,
should do it. We have to do it.
that's
Because
just
we said
Lord
it's gonna
sleeps
happen.
across the table and strangles.
No, it's more like
my health.
while we're having this conversation, I'm trying to think about when I'm going to fold together a bunch of Mario boxes and when I'm
yeah.
going to try to like make an image that I could tweet on
Absolutely.
Twitter. I don't know. There's no
Yeah.
time for any of this shit because there's 18 other things that are already behind because we had a day off and we have a day off tomorrow. Well, day out tomorrow. So that's the fun part of being a manager is you have to play mental chess with like 4 pieces on a board that has no room for any of them all the time.
Yeah. Also, like, I mean, for me, like, because of Arizona Circle stuff, I'm always on like Austin's time too. So I'm like, I have no idea when I'm supposed to
I've got
talk to them this week.
I got employees in Austin too.
Yeah,
And
that's right. Yeah, I mean, you do
it
too.
makes coordinating extremely difficult because by the time you can get any assets to them, their workday's halfway over.
Yeah.
And so yeah, there's a lot of planning around that, which pushes everything we do earlier in the day, which means I have to get here at 8 sometimes just to get everything done.
Yeah, I was on the phone at 8 this morning. Almost got hit by a car.
Oh yeah, I'm talking
Unrelated.
with I'm talking with Austin staff at 8 every day. That's when my workday starts, and usually goes until like 8. So that's cool.
But just want to say, like, big tentpole events,
Yeah,
big
yeah,
fun
sorry.
things like
Not about me.
Oh,
costume
yeah, yeah.
gameplays, and I mean, we're still figuring stuff out because it's like got to know where things are going. But like, love you to come back for demo disc, stuff like that. Like,
Whenever you want.
we'll figure out the shooting schedule. We'll be there, but like. I obviously we want you around. The audience wants you around,
Yeah.
and it's like you're right. It's not a farewell. It's not a goodbye. It's just a.
It's just changing,
It's just-
I think.
Yeah.
I guess cue the song changes by some dead guy.
Which one? The Tupac version?
I don't know if you guys had anything to say. I know Matt, you've been talking our ears off. I mean, big reasons. I mean, people are probably like, "Why is Matt there?" I
Yeah, I
wanted
know, why
everyone
am-
who had originally left Machinima together to
Why
go on
am
the
I
show.
here?
Because you would have if
You're
you
still,
were.
yeah, you're part of the.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you should shout out like this. This is an intentional recreation of our first Dude Soup podcast.
To a degree. Also, I mean, like
This is a tribute to Sugar Pine, too.
Yeah.
we are in the old Sugar Pine space, which is the old. It's the first space we moved into when we came here. So it's still Sugar Pine thing. That was never intended. It's also one of the few rooms we have that are available to shoot in right now with this amount of people for this long. So there's very little hidden meaning in my
Tranquility
life.
too.
Yeah.
There's a certain element
It's
of
meant to
that.
calm.
We're supposed to have
Yeah.
a dog, I think. Where's that?
Matt,
somewhere.
what's your takeaway wisdom?
I'm nodding a lot because you guys are saying everything that's in my head. But yeah, since it's been like, what, 4.5 years Funhaus has been around,
Yeah.
right? And it feels like longer because really, well, for me, because working with you guys at Machinima before that.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like
Almost
kind of
7 years.
Yeah, there'd be a lot of times during all this where like, this is great, but it will end at some point. I don't know when that is or who that'll be for first, but I've definitely thought about that from time to time through the years. And so, this is just that,
Yeah.
It's not bad. It's inevitable, So.
You think you'll ever speak to
Like
Bruce again?
Thanos.
That,
As one of the two
jury's
people at this
still
table
out.
who used to live with Bruce.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. Matt and Lawrence. Well, that was another thing that you said there were a couple of things. One thing you said, fought for the brand when I was leaving. I wasn't fighting for the brand. I was fighting for the people.
Yeah.
I want to make sure
that's what I meant.
No,
I meant, yeah.
I know what you meant.
Funhaus is a people.
I didn't take your meaning wrong. It was more of I wanted to make sure people understood as like I'm not like man Funhaus all the way like it's fun. It doesn't matter who's in it. No, it's not that. It's not that at all.
No,
it's
yeah.
exactly the opposite. It's actually more about I want everybody here to be happy.
Yeah.
No.
And that's what I spent my years doing. Was fighting for that stuff because I knew like I wanted everybody to be happy as happy as they could be, and a job at a company, which is sometimes pretty hard. So that's important. And I don't remember the other thing I was going to say because I was going to address Matt Peak. Oh, that's what it was. The relationships. So a lot of people don't know, but I had a relationship, pre-existing relationship with everybody here at this table except for Lawrence. Lawrence is the first person I actually started working with Lawrence before we had a relationship together. Lawrence and I talked about that a few days ago, but I don't know that people understand that we were friends before.
No,
You
I
know,
met
like-
you. I was 23 years old.
Yeah.
So young, so young.
Go back. Jeez.
Because I mean, we play volleyball together.
Yeah.
Your friends, James. Like,
No, we've been friends for years, and
young.
it's just important for people to note that this isn't like me being like, oh, well, I'm leaving because I'll, like,
Pleasure working with you.
So see you later, coworkers.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
We were friends, and we will be friends.
Yeah.
So.
You
Absolutely.
DJ'd my wedding.
I did. That's right.
You declined the invite to our wedding.
I did. That's right.
I think you were
I
working
know.
or something.
You accepted the invite.
I had to work,
but then G4. I remember you getting you were very pissed off on the call.
Yeah.
Because G4 was forcing you to go to like weenie roast or something shitty.
No, it
Oh,
wasn't.
yeah,
Reno was
I bet
awesome.
forcing.
It was some dumb G4 event.
It was
that I had
something
to-
terrible, and you were like,
I
they're
remember
literally
that.
not letting me go.
But you were like, I know this guy Adam, and I mean, how hard can it be?
To be fair, I mean, we told the story before, but Bruce and I both stood on stage on the grave of the show G4TV.com.
Oh, yeah.
Because they were like, hey, we're doing a goodbye to G4TV.com. It's mandatory. I don't know. But it was their goodbye episode. That was a real sad one because it was like their job was saying, you need to leave. Your show's over. We're becoming like Spike TV, leave. I was just an intern. I'm like, oh, I'll stand on stage. But Bruce and I are on opposite sides of the stage waving goodbye to the show. Didn't really know each other at the time, but then it's like, oh, wow. Whereas like we were destined to meet at some point.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, I think that's something funny about our whole team that people don't realize. Like, James and Dan went to high school together.
Oh yeah.
I met Omar because he did freelance stuff at Game Trailers. Same with, Don and I worked at Game Trailers together. You knew Ryan from Wisecrack.
Yeah, barely. I mean, Matt used to sleep in Jess's garage
guys-
in college. He's like, hey, we found a guy asleep in a garage. He says he'll shower at the gym. We believe him.
You and Bones, like,
Bones and I went to high school together.
Yeah.
I met Bones when I was 16.
yeah, like,
So-
I don't think people realize, like, yeah, that we've known each other for a really
Well, I
long
mean,
time.
just I guess for context, even more to that situation, when Bruce first met me, I was probably I think John made a little video at the end, but I'm pretty sure I said the exact same thing. I'm not sure if he's going to use it or not, but I had 1 foot out the door when you came.
Oh,
on.
absolutely you did,
yeah,
yeah.
because I was at Inside Gaming and they basically fired everybody.
Yeah.
And they said keep doing it, and I was just like, I want to die. I don't want to do this anymore. And I was calling other people and trying to get another job, but then Bruce was like, hey, just stick with me and let's try to make something. And you got me excited about making content again. And I was like, and then you got James, because James got let go too.
I got fired.
And I never known James. He was in a different department. But then like, just from that one gesture, from being like, hey, let's try to make this thing work, and let's have some fun doing it, it spun off into this thing that we've been doing for 5 years. It's like, it's crazy.
7.
I mean, yeah, exactly.
Long
yeah,
time.
it's been a while. So it's like that could have gone a completely different way. It could be something entirely different. But so like I'm always just grateful for that because I don't know if I ever told any of you guys this, but like my intention always with this job, and I guess any job, was I thought G4 was this cool clubhouse everyone hung out with, and they got to make cool content all day. And then I got there and I'm like, this place sucks. It's miserable. They really put it on for show. But like my dream was always to like create that dream job, that place. And Bruce, you 110% help make that happen. And so like I wouldn't trade this job for anything in the world because I still love it. And like, as I totally respect your dreams and I want you to do what you want to do and grow your own business, but like you helped me achieve my dreams.
Oh, good.
Which is work
Jeez.
with a lot of people who I love being around every day and making videos that make people laugh. So I'm always going to be just super grateful for that.
Well, I hope that applies to everybody here,
No, definitely. I mean, like,
because that's always been my goal.
Yeah.
I mean, like, for me, like, the three of you, but then you obviously, like, hiring me, like, I hadn't really gotten a chance, I think, to make comedy on a scale that I wanted to. And you, I mean, I think all of you, but you especially, like, saw in me the potential to do that.
Of course. Are you kidding?
And,
Jeez, how could I have missed it?
And I had never really gotten an opportunity like that until, you know, you gave that to me. And
I let you write your own vows.
And like, I will be forever grateful for that. And I mean, I think you're definitely my best comedy partner.
Oh,
like,
thanks.
I think the audience thinks that too. I think like they think like Bruce and Elise
Bruce
best
and Elise,
comedy
best comedy
duo.
duo.
I mean, I'm all the things we've seen come from us.
Don't forget I'm original Batball, though. Don't ever
we got
forget.
Batball, we got Beaver, we got best Google Trends team you've ever seen. We've got B for Bruce, B for Bray. We got, I mean, how many?
That was one of the things that came up where they're like, well, do we do a best of Bruce? I'm like, it's just gonna be the whole channel.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
don't waste your time.
Well,
like,
at least
you
in
don't-
Bruce bits.
we can get that done in 3 minutes or so. I don't know.
I
It'll be a
mean-
short video.
It'll be short.
But yeah, it is a joy to make funny with you.
Oh, it's the best to make funny
Yeah.
with you guys. That's the thing that I get. Like that's my favorite part of the job. Is
Yeah.
I get to sit down and actually do that. That's always been my favorite part of the job.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, if anyone has anything other they would like to say, I think we're going up to 40 minutes now, which was supposed to be sort of a quick, like, hey, this is do stuff, but
Packed is full of mid-roll ads every 2 minutes.
I think another thing too is a problem I think we tend to do is when we all get in a room together, we end up just talking for
Yeah.
way too long, probably longer than we should. But John did cut together a little video of everyone saying a little something nice for you, Bruce. So,
I haven't even seen that.
yeah. So let's hope it's all good. But
sure,
I know it is.
absolutely,
It's fine. So thank you everyone for watching or listening, and hopefully understanding of the times they are changing. But you know, they can be happy too. So it's all
Yeah.
good. And Bruce, I think we all just want to say thank you.
Thank you, Bruce.
So much
Are you kidding me?
for
Thank
your
you
service.
guys. Jeez. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah. Anyway,
Well, we'll see you next Friday, I guess.
we'll see you in a couple days. All right. Roll the clip.